guys, it's Alicia here with Keller Williams, South Tampa, coming at you with another Millennial Monday. All right, so we have another outdoor video. I apologize for the sounds. A couple of things before we jump into this week's content is I made a commitment to a former client slash personal friend of myself and my wife's, Judy, that if I have to, this is the whole thing, guys. I made a comment about how if we are stuck at home for another month past this month of April, then I will take a set of clippers to my head, okay? This is to prevent disheveled hair. But if we're able to go back out into the world and I can get a haircut, I'm not gonna do that. But I'll do it on video for you guys, just for Judy, and I hope you appreciate that. Also, you might be wondering, is this a projector? Like, is that a TV screen, like a movie theater screen? The answer is yes. I've got like a movie theater in my backyard. You can make whatever you want, like, on your house. It's crazy. Okay, so that being said, we're gonna actually get into this week's content, which is, should I pay my rent slash mortgage at the end of the world? Okay, obviously I'm kidding, guys. I said this in the last video. I do not believe this is the end of the world. In fact, I feel with greater certainty today that we're gonna be just fine. We just have to do the right things. Do the right things. Stay at home, socially distance, wash your hands, be a good, responsible person, okay? Anyway, that being said, should you continue to pay for the place that you're living? Whether you're a renter or a homeowner, the answer is yes, you should. Why is that? Okay, I'm gonna start by talking to homeowners, okay? Homeowners, if you are legitimately struggling, like if you or someone in your household has been laid off, displaced, whatever, reach out to your bank. Each bank has their own policy in place right now to help you if you're not able to make your mortgage payments. I would do this only if you actually need the help. If you don't need the help, don't waste your time. If you can reasonably afford to pay your mortgage, just pay the mortgage and don't deal with any of this, okay? A lot of people are talking about how you can put the payments at the end of your loan and basically get free, a couple months of free living. Not true. So I'm not a lender, don't work for a bank. I'm just letting you know what I know. If you want more information, I would advise that you either talk to your bank or talk to one of my trusted lending partners. Anyway, that being said, your bank has their own policy, okay? And it's gonna be a forbearance, which is essentially them allowing you to not pay your mortgage for however many months, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever, okay? There's an application process for that. And at the end of the forbearance period, you are required to there are 3 options, but you will be asked to repay it. So you'll either repay it in one lump sum, like one big payment, which if you don't have the money now, if you don't have this month's mortgage payment, don't know how you're gonna have 3 months of mortgage payments at the end of this, I digress. The other option is that they allow you to break it into payments that you can put on top of your existing mortgage, which again, if you're already struggling, this is going to, weigh down your struggle bus even more, right? So you might be asking, can I put on the back of the loan? What are people talking about when they say that? They're talking about a loan modification. And I don't know a lot about this, so I'm going to refer you to someone who knows more. However, I've been told repeatedly by a lot of people in the lending industry that this is exceptionally bad for your credit. Your credit will absolutely tank. So I don't know what that means, except that it's bad. So don't do it unless you have to, okay? That being said, loan modifications are full-on modifications. We're talking interest rates, terms, everything. It's almost like a refinance, okay? So, homeowners, does that make sense? If you have any questions, honestly, I want to be able to help you, but just call your bank and ask them, all right? And renters, you're a part of the conversation too, right? So I've been seeing a lot of rhetoric that's like, rent strikes and things like this. Guys, I don't discount the economic impact that this is already having, and I don't discount that this is a really bizarre time to be alive in general, right? Even before the pandemic. So there are people who are legitimately struggling to pay their rent for valid reasons. Hard-working Americans who show up every single day and do the right things. So you guys, if you're able to make your rent payment, make your rent payment. again, your landlord is still paying the note. They're still paying the mortgage on this, right? And I did want to make a plug here for, that's like a hashtag not all landlords. All right, guys. I understand that there are a lot of slumlords and just people who are not necessarily fantastic who get into the landlord game because that's what they want to do. But a lot of landlords are people like, they're kind of people like you and I. Like, if you're renting a house from someone who just happens to have a second home they're using as a rental, maybe it was their first home, you know, they're probably using that to supplement their income. They're probably just trying to have some financial stability in a version of America where it is challenging to do that. So not all landlords are awful people. They're not all out to get you, okay? Obviously, I'm not speaking about apartment complex owners. I don't know anything about what their lives are like, okay? Just saying. Not all landlords, okay? And my last point that I want to make is one day you might be the landlord. One day you're going to be in a position where you have a little more financial stability. You got a little more money in the bank. Maybe your first house, you outgrow your first house and you have the luxury of being able to hold it and use it as a rental. This is good for building generational wealth. I am an advocate for young people striving for this because I think that this is a great way to build generational wealth and it's a great way to supplement your income as long as you're doing it smart. You know, there's definitely smart ways to do this and dumb ways to do this. But that being said, you could be the landlord one day, and that doesn't make you a bad guy. You know, it doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you someone who had the resources and is taking advantage of an opportunity. And it's up to you to decide, you know, should you become the landlord, what kind of landlord you want to be. So that's it, guys. Should you pay your rent or mortgage at the end of the world? Yeah, pay your bills. Because I know right now the credit's not being reported, but at the end of this, it will be. This is real life, guys. Anyway, any questions that I can answer, let me know. I'm happy to help out. As always, thank you so much for being you. Thanks for being a part of this. Have a happy, healthy, productive week. And more than ever, stay safe. Wash those hands.